I'm a first-generation American, and my family is from the Philippines. I'm born and raised in Chicago, and then I lived for a lot of my life in a suburb just outside of Chicago in Niles, Illinois. Both my parents spoke the native dialect, and then they put me on a school bus and I go to school, and then it was just like, a melting pot of America. But when I went home to eat, it was like straight up Filipino food, like all the time. A pot of rice was going all the time. It was the first thing I learned how to cook. A majority of my life, my eyes have seen America through this perspective of a Filipino culture, but I have to interpret everything I see as an American because I'm born and raised as an American. What every Filipino person that's come into this restaurant has said is that it's not real Filipino food. And you have to explain, this is not a Filipino restaurant. It is Filipino inspired, and also Vietnamese inspired, and Korean inspired, and Japanese inspired, and American inspired, and Niles and Brooklyn inspired especially. The dish we're making today is Kare-Kare. My version of Kare-Kare at Talde is inspired by a stewed oxtail and peanut dish that my aunt used to make for Christmas and Thanksgiving. First cousins in Chicago alone, it's like I have 20 of them. So every other month there was somebody's birthday where we would get together. And this particular aunt of mine, she would make Kare-Kare. And whenever it's time to eat, I would always just make myself a plate of that and be good. My recipe here at Talde starts with a piece of short rib, salted, seasoned, seared, and then braised for a very long time in a little bit of chicken stock, some onion, some garlic, chilies, ginger, toasted shrimp paste, tomato. Braises for about 3 to 4 hours. And then we strain the sauce and we finish it with a little bit of peanut butter and toasted rice flour to thicken it and basically make a gravy. My aunt in this dish is really the sauce. The love of the dish and her influence is really apparent in the sauce. And then on top, we garnish it with toasted dried shrimp, pickled chilies, cilantro stems, and that's the dish. To me, it just tastes like a bowl of comfort. When I am able to come home, she always makes it. And I see her and she's like, hey Dale, I make Kare-Kare. And she always puts a smile on her face, and I talked to her for like 30 minutes about it, and you could see her face lights up because she's like, my mother has told her, Dale talks about that all the time, and he that was part of his inspiration for a lot of the things that he does. If my aunt came to this restaurant and tried my Kare-Kare, I think first she would be very surprised as to what it is, and she'd be like, this is not the dish. Then the minute she tasted it, she would understand that, all right, Dale got the flavor. It doesn't look like my dish, but he got the flavor. Kare-Kare is definitely a representation of what this restaurant is. It's a traditional dish through my eyes. This is my voice, this is, the restaurant Talde is 13 years that I've been cooking, and this is kind of what it's summed up in.